Welcome to the City of LaPorte Board of Works or Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. I'd like to call this meeting on November 17th at 9 a.m. to order. I'll begin. Jen Knoll, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag
of the United
the United
States
States of America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic
for
which
which it
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice.
justice for all.
I wanted to make sure you were paying attention. Let's see here. And again, we are doing Zoom based on the COVID increases and doing our part to try to flatten the curve, keep people safe and keep the economy going and keep from overwhelming the hospital. You'll see Zoom meetings for probably through the end of the year, barring any large change. There is light at the end of the tunnel with vaccine opportunities coming, but that'll be probably second quarter of 2021. So I hope the public can bear with us while we do our part to keep everybody safe. Do I have a motion for approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Clerk Treasurer Parthum.
Okay, I've got claims approval for payroll for 11/13/2020 in the amount of $416,015.36.
I move we approve payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Okay. To situate, I'm not at my normal area. Next is civil city claims in the amount of $710,308.04. The only thing that I wanted to point out outside of what we normally have is a previously approved tank replacement in the street department area for around $54,000. Other than that, it's the normal perf, trash invoice, all that good stuff. So $710,308.04.
And so with that, is that so street department can put the oil tanker on top of that and
Well,
start?
that is the oil tanker. That is what was previously approved by Board of Works.
And have we approved, Mike, and maybe it's a question for Mike, but have we approved the concrete for that to go on?
Yes,
Okay, so that will be happening.
yes.
And that means we will be filling potholes during the winter months as long as there's not snow, and we can pick up weeks of work that we normally have not been able to in the past. And with everybody wanting their streets done, this will definitely help. Any other questions or discussions?
Courtney, was the concrete part of the agreement that was in the 54,000?
It was not in the 54,000. It was separate.
Okay, but that's not in this bill of claims yet?
Correct. I don't think it's not in there yet.
Okay, thanks.
And we've always had to use the county when they'd allow us with the oil tanker, but then they would shut down, and we never had access before to continue to work on our roads during the winter months. So this is a big thing for the city of LaPorte. Great work, Mike Fraze.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Mayor, we haven't had a
Motion.
motion yet.
Oh, I thought we had a motion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We've got water claims in the amount of $176,231.
Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And then finally, we have sewage claims in the amount of $272,205.32.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And that's all from us.
Clerk Treasurer Parthun, if you don't mind adding, it looks fantastic out here with the drive-through. Any updates?
So yeah, we've actually had a line the other day in the drive-through. So thank you, Board of Works, for approval on the drive-through. I think residents love it. They're able to. It's been challenging with the pandemic for customers to while our utility billing office has been accommodating, it's been challenging to have that, face-to-face contact or relationship just over the phone and by email. So this just adds another element for residents to be able to see the utility billing people. I mean, there's a video, there's radio capability. We're able to still get original signatures, which is required by State Board of Accounts. So all in all, it's a huge win for us. We've had several other municipalities and LaPorte County congratulate us on the drive-through and talk about how important it would be for them as well. So we're excited and we're definitely utilizing it.
Great. We've heard a lot of positive comments from residents, so keep it up. Right now, we'll move to public comment, but right now still, there hasn't been any public comment yet. Is there anybody on the Zoom call that would like to speak during public comment? Okay, we'll move to department reports if we could keep.
Mayor, real quick, sorry, there was one comment so far. Drive-through is definitely a win for LaPorte from Kathy Keller, Almanza.
Kathy Keller, Lamanza?
Almanza, yep.
Manza, thank you for that, for those comments. We'll now move to department reports, and again, just to remind you to please keep it brief. Bert Cook, LEAP.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any report this morning.
Nick Otis, anything from legal?
Nothing that we won't be covering today, Mayor.
Chief Breton, LaPorte Police.
Good morning. Just the two promotions were done last week. Che Uleman and Matt Dragmeister were both promoted to corporal. Also, we received two $5,000 donations from Joe Hoffman in memory of his wife, Karen, and son, Kevin, towards our K-9 program. Very generous. That's all I have.
Beth West, Transport.
The only big news I guess we have is that we finally got our electrostatic sprayers. They've been on back order since May. They are being paid for by CARES Act money that will help quickly sanitize our buses. Other than that, there isn't any other news.
I think those are important, so I'm glad those are being done to keep everybody safe. Water Department, Tim Warner.
Thank you, Mayor. Both of our wells that we had cleaned last week are both back in service after crews completed the cleaning and testing. Other than that, we still have 3 people out in quarantine. One of the cases did come back positive. We're still waiting for results on the other 2. That's all I have right now.
And just as a reminder for you and Jared Jackson, and people have still been talking about the rate increases of 17 cents a day. Work is already beginning for work processes. People will be able to see work in the ground next spring and improvements. So we're excited about that. And I'll just with that go right to Jerry Jackson. Jerry, any thoughts as well?
I'm excited to get started on some of the projects. One of the items on the board is engineering for letters and number streets. So yeah, we're I'm ready to go full bore. And the bond sales today, so big day.
And the letter and number streets, the engineering will allow us that by spring, do you think we'll be doing work?
It should. In that work, they would do construction drawings for the storm sewer in the street, and also review the size and capabilities of the Torino storm basin. And we should be in a position to start work in the spring.
Great. Fire Chief Andy Snyder. I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Not too much going on. We do have our busy with our annual performance ratings that are mandated by state law. Hopefully, we should be on track to get those done by December 10th. And as everyone's aware, with the increase in COVID, we have stepped up our response, as well as the restrictions that we put in place almost back in like March and April. We're following those again for our response to calls with EMS. That's it.
Parks, Mark Schreiber.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to remind the community that with Christmas coming, we have our Letters from Santa program starting up. So if parents would like their children to receive a letter from Santa, they can go to cityoflaporte.com and download the registration form, and we'll mail out a nice letter from Santa letting them know they're going to get everything they want this year. So you can find that on cityoflaporte.com. And we also have some nice holiday painting classes coming up. So we'd like to promote those as well on December 5th and December 12th. Parties on the go, putting those on. So plenty still going on this holiday season. Thank you.
And just as a reminder to the public, we have Toys for Tots that we are collecting brand new unwrapped toys for. Or the city of LaPorte is taking financial contributions for the U.S. Marines. Each Monday they will come by here, I think through the 24th of, I believe, November, if I'm not mistaken. So anybody in the public would like to donate unwrapped toys. Annette, is that right, the deadline?
The 14th of December is the last pickup date.
December 14th.
Yes.
We are a special community that help one another. So again, financial donations or unwrapped new toys, Toys for Tots, contact Annette, 362-0151. And we certainly appreciate your support.
Just wanted to clarify, was that like we register for those letters to from Santa, but then like Santa sends them out, right?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. The parent would register. They fill out the form, drop it off, or mail it to the park office before December 11th. And then we send a letter out that your child will receive from Santa Claus. So,
unless you're
coming from Santa, right?
They are coming from Santa, not from the park department, right?
Not that it wouldn't be great to get, a letter from you in the park department, but
no, we're not quite as magical, and we don't have a toy factory, but no, they do come. They are from Santa. Letters from Santa.
You're kind of magical, but that's yeah.
Thank you.
I get it.
Mark, you seem like you want to substitute for Santa and write the letters yourself. We're open to that. I don't know if the kids will like that, but
I'm working on the gray for sure.
With that, we'll move to Mike Fraze with the street department.
We're in the process of still picking up leaves. We're over by Hanley School area, and we'll keep moving clockwise around the city.
And with good weather, you're going to be able to fill holes in the winter, correct?
Yeah. Once that thing's ready to go, yes.
All right, we're having a few internet issues, so please be aware if just hang on. For some reason, we would lose internet connection. Stay with us. Jen Knoll, Human Resources.
We are in the midst of insurance open enrollment, so that'll run through November 26th. And then additionally, we've got just some internal projects going on here in HR that are keeping me busy.
Jess Bruder, Communications.
My only update is that we do finally have the City of LaPorte apparel available for sale. The community members can find it on our website, liveinthelakeLife.org, and then click on the Lake Shop. It'll take them to our vendor, Reprographic Arts. I've been told that they're going to make really good Christmas presents, so there's that. And then if there are any other vendors in the community who are interested in working out a licensing agreement, you can contact me at jbruder@cityoflaportein.gov. That's all I have.
And what is that website again people can go to?
liveinthelakeLife.org. And then at the top, there's a button called the Lake Shop.
And they have come out with some really cool baseball caps with it on there. Old school, you can actually bend.
Yeah, the hats aren't on the website quite yet, but we do have the short sleeve, long sleeve hoodies and zip up hoodies.
Ted Yoakum, great gifts for the family there and at the Herald Argus, so keep that in mind. Nick Minnick, engineering.
We are finalizing a lot of our paving. We just have A and 18th Street turn lane that we're working on right now. Contractors are ready to kind of finish up for the year. We'll have some more work done in the spring on our second paving contract. And Mayor, I did receive a proposal. I don't know if this would be the time to bring it up or if you want to do it further down in the agenda.
We'll do it further down in the agenda after Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan approval.
Okay, great.
We like you being around.
Okay.
And also, I think between you, I, and Jess Bruder, we still get a lot of questions as if we're not doing any street work. And I think we need to continually update all the work that's happening across the city of LaPorte, even including the recent addition on 18th and A to help with the turn signal there to deal with the traffic at the middle school. But there's work being done all over the city of LaPorte, and I think it's important that we get that word out again.
Yeah, we can put together the list and update website and make sure that people see what streets have been done. This year we did kind of tip over the 50% of our streets have been paved within the last 5 years. So we're getting quite a bit done, and we want to keep that trend in the coming years.
Jeff Batchelor, code enforcement.
Yesterday I went around to the retail establishments. A lot of them, they improved 100%. A couple of them only, Walmart didn't have nobody that didn't have their mask on. Al's had one person that didn't. Some of the other ones had a couple people and that stuff, but 100% better enforced, or people cooperate and following the order. And then this is the last week for the dumpster program. We've had close to almost 100 dumps within all the times we did. That's all I have to report.
And thank you to Nate Lauk stepping up and offering a spot there. I know we had some complaints before, but he stepped up and said, hey, the community's on its way, and he wanted to help out. So thanks to Nate from that perspective. Also, Jeff has done a fantastic job. Just to let all you know, there's not much flexibility for the retailers. They need to have people wearing masks, not only to protect other people, but more and more data is coming out that shows it is protecting you and me and together. We've got light at the end of the tunnel, but we need to do our part. And Jeff is the one that is enforcing the restrictions that we put in place, not because we want to, because we have to, so we're not overwhelming the hospital. And I know we get a lot of comments. We've offered my cell, Jeff's cell, for anybody that has concern about it, and do not receive phone calls. So while social media is important, we're taking calls day and night and willing to address your concerns about masks. It's not a political issue. It's a health and safety issue. Courtney Parthune, Clerk Treasurer, anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to give props to all the working families out there who have to do this from home because the last 2 days have been a huge challenge for me with a toddler. So no, there's nothing else to add.
Tom Casey, City Planner.
Thanks, Mayor. Working on a wide variety of projects. I won't list those now, but in addition, this week we've got historical preservation tonight. We've got a new responsibility, which is the UEA. The UEA budget planning is on Wednesday afternoon. We've also got an RDC meeting Wednesday night. So thank you.
And we are looking to light up downtown for Christmas.
Yes, we're doing everything we can to get that
get that done a little bit better than it is right now.
And if anybody from the public would like to support that physically or financially, we think it's a special time and would look forward. You can contact Tom Casey. What's the best number to reach you?
My cell number, which is 630-781-3550. I also want to add and give credit to Andy Snyder. Andy's came up with a great idea to create an archway, which we're going to be doing in the plaza. So we're working together on that.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment about that. I took note last night that let's see, I think from like sort of downtown east along Lincoln Way, it looked fantastic, and it looked to be almost like some families out there. I certainly saw some kids, so it was really kind of cool to see what appeared to be some families out there working on getting those lights up, and it looked fantastic.
Thanks, Mark. The bid actually is responsible for that. So they do that through the Boy Scouts. So the Boy Scouts volunteer their time to go through the lights and string the lights on the trees. So it does look really pretty.
It looks so good. I even called the mayor last night to let him know.
And then didn't answer your call when I called you back.
It was second quarter. It looked like, it was going to be a good game.
All right. So with that, I'd also like to add thank you, department heads. If you do not have anything on the agenda, go have a great day. Also want to add that each year we have opportunities to appoint new individuals in the community that have never served on a board and want to see positive things happen in LaPorte. If that is you, please email me at tdermody@cityoflaportein.org or contact Annette Leffler at 362-0151. Again, we have all types of opportunities coming. If you want to see LaPorte move forward and would like to participate, there is opportunities on a board for January 1st of 2021, and we are taking applications from interested parties as we speak. Talking about Christmas, we will move to new business requests for youth Santa Parade. Lindsay Johnkind.
So this year we're going to do it a little bit differently. Instead of having a parade on Lincoln Way, we're going to do a drive-through parade on State Street. So the parade entries will be lined up on either side of State Street between Jackson and Michigan. And parade patrons will drive through going west on State Street. People are still going to hand out candy, and then NDOT is also still going to have their canned food drive. So we're hoping that we can, have a good turnout for 2 hours. We're going to start it at 11 and end it at 1. Also, after you get through State Street, people have the opportunity to go to the train depot and have COVID-safe pictures with Santa and Mrs. Claus. So we're just hoping to bring a little bit of normalcy to this year's holiday season.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. Lindsay, obviously handing out the candy. We'll make sure we are COVID safe handing out candy as we've tried to do for Halloween. We want to do well.
Correct.
Any other discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Mark, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I had to cough in there. That was an aye.
All right, opposed, motion passes 3-0. I'd also like to mention great leadership by Lindsay Johnkind, developing a young professionals group, and we're already getting a lot of interest. Lindsay, if you just want to touch on that for just a quick second, for those young professionals that are interested to help develop in what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be considered a committee under the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. We have a steering committee of 4 people. Carrie, we have Curtis Eisminger and Brad Rauschenbach and myself. We are actually meeting tonight. That'll be our second meeting to just kind of finalize our idea as to how we want to structure everything. But basically, we are going to focus more on the professional development side of young professionals. So we'll have young professional nights where, our members can kind of rub shoulders with people they wouldn't normally rub shoulders with in the community. We'll have a career coaching program that we'll do through LEAP. And also we'll still do some community service, but it will be more focused on professional development and continuing education for those young professionals.
And how do they reach you if they're interested?
If you are interested in being a member, you can email me at Lindsay, LINDSAYJ @laportepartnership.com, or you can call my cell at 219-369-3039.
Thank you. Jess Bruder, did you get those numbers and email? I think she'd be a great addition.
I did, Mayor. Thank you.
I agree. I've already talked to her.
Barnes and Thornburg, terms of agreement letter. Is that you, Courtney Parthune, leading the charge?
It is, thanks. So we have 3 letters of engagement here for 3 different bond counsel that we'll need to use Barnes and Thornburg services for. So we've got the 2020 general obligation refunding bonds engagement letter. We've got the sewage works revenue bonds engagement letter, and we've got the waterworks revenue bonds engagement letter. So what this is just stating, and Nick, you can help me out here, Nick Otis. Barnes and Thornburg we use as our bond counsel for the city of LaPorte, and we've got 3 transactions happening. And in order to keep us in compliance with all of the items that we need for bond issuance or refunding bonds, we use Barnes and Thornburg for those services.
Nick Otis, anything you'd like to add?
No, the city's been using Barnes and Thornburg for all of its bond-related projects for years. Well, before I was the city attorney, Tom Pittman does a very good job. This is to ensure compliance with, these bonds are sold on the open market, similar to how a stock would be sold, and so we have to make sure that we're complying with state and federal laws regarding this. In fact, Mayor, I know that we a conversation yesterday. I think Jerry did, and Jerry Jackson of these the rates that we've locked in. I think keep these rates to be in compliance with these bond documents. So basically, we can't go to a bank and borrow money like a mortgage. We have to issue bonds, and so this is how we do that.
Great. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Are we approving all 3 in one shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Again, this is for the bonding for waterworks, sewer, for the work that's going to be done. And again, we could have ignored this. This is tough times. We're in a world pandemic. So we could have ignored the fact that water could be shut down, sewer issues that we've been having, and wait for something tragic to happen, or we can move ahead of the game here and get the work done. And we've chosen to get the work done, and this is a part of that. So I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Jerry Jackson, permission to request quotes for crop year 2021.
This is for our Head Creek farm adjacent to the treatment plant. We've got about 97 acres there that are tillable. Last year or 2 years ago, we got bids on the order of $225 an acre. We likely will not do that well this time. The crop prices have dropped. And the item on the agenda says 2021, but we generally do a 2-year period, so it'll be crop years 2021 and 2022. We would send out quote requests from the current farmers and several other farmers who are local who have expressed interest in farming that ground. We also put some restrictions in the time frame because as far as when they get the crop out of the field and into the field so that we can put our solids on the field. That's how we dispose of our wastewater solids. So I'd ask permission to request quotes to cash rent the adjacent Head Creek wetland property.
Jerry, before we make a motion, does it make sense, or because the numbers are lower, to just do 2021?
We could give, there's no, I don't see a downside really in doing that. It's not real difficult to go through the process. We just go through the process again at the end of the year.
Members, any thoughts on that?
Actually, I think it's a pretty good idea to, if it's not, if it doesn't create any significant sort of hardship, to break it down into 1 year at a time in hopes that crop prices might go up. So the rents might go up for the next year. Also, is there any chance that with the expected potential work on the wastewater plant that we would need any of that acreage?
This ground is on the other side of the Travis ditch, so there wouldn't be any potential. We wouldn't use that ground for treatment plant work. However, we've had some discussions with other parties about using some of that ground for other development. So it was my intent to write in some verbiage saying this is a unit contract. If the acres may change, we could also write the contract so that it's good for the crop year 2021, and by board approval we could extend it to 2022. So that way, if the prices are stable and it doesn't look like there's anything to gain, we can just give the farmer the go ahead to farm another year.
I just would hate to, I don't want to put unnecessary work on you, Jerry, for that second year, but I mean, it could go down even further as well, but if you're comfortable with it, we could keep it to that 1 year.
Yeah, let's write the contract for 1 year with the option to extend. That way the board has freedom to make a decision.
Yeah, that'll be more efficient. What kind of prices are you expecting, Jerry? If it used to be 225, what do you think it'll be coming for 2021?
If we got 150, I'd be pretty happy with that, I suspect.
Wow.
This isn't something I do every day, so I'm not real. I can go back and look at the numbers we got for the ground, the Arconic ground, and send them to you. You can have an idea.
Thanks.
Just wondering that with the fact that you use it for the solids, but it's sort of in between crops being there, does that provide an advantage to any farmer who might be leasing it?
It does. Oh yeah, absolutely. They get 40, 50 pounds an acre of nitrogen kind of built into the deal. Now we do some rotation, so they don't get that every year because we've got 2 other farms we apply on. But yeah, they definitely get a good deal on the nitrogen and on the phosphorus.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I second.
So I do. We are making a motion for the year 2021. And Nick, do we need to put anything, or Jerry, you would like some language that states about an extension?
Yeah, I was going to say we'll put some language in the contract that the board can, by its decision, can extend it another year. That way, if it's we can do it easily. If it looks like it's a good deal to extend it or rebid it.
So I do have a motion for the year 2021.
Jerry, just real quick on this, was this the parcel that we pulled out some acreage because it was too wet a few years ago?
Absolutely, it was 107 acres, I think, before we did that. So the 97 acre number I threw out would be the current number.
Got it. Okay. The portion of that was just consistently too wet to farm, correct?
It was, and that may change, and again, that may be another reason to call it a unit contract and vary by acres.
Okay.
So I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Now permission, something I'm excited about, to request engineering proposals for the letters and number streets. And I just want to add, anybody that went through the rains this spring and saw the damage that's done to homes, their basements, and flooding of the streets, should be excited about this as well. So Jerry, go ahead.
This would be the engineering to do construction drawings for sewer separation on IJ, K, and L between 18th Street and 10th Street. There's also consideration would be, we ask for consideration of the capacity of our Torino Basin. There's a proposal to expand that basin, and at some point we're going to probably need an outlet, so that needs some investigation too. So that would be the work. It would be design of the storm sewer system and sewer separation, and review of the basin capacity. So we'd send out. There's a number of firms who've done work, local firms who've done work for the city, and we'd send out notices to them requesting proposals.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. And Jerry, the Torino Basin increase would be there along the school corporation across from Kessling, correct?
Correct. And it sounds like the school is interested in assisting with that, and also creating an educational facility out of that area, which would be really nice. I think the property owner is adjacent to it also, to kind of have that locked in as a preserve and an educational facility adjacent to your house would be pretty cool.
And is there a letter or number street that we won't solve the solving with this?
There is some additional engineering work that related to 12th Street. When you discharge to the Torino Basin, the storm sewer runs out of grade by the time you get to 14th Street. So you can capture a whole lot of that stormwater from the neighborhood, but you can't get all the way to 12th Street. So we're looking at some alternatives, either diverting the stormwater from the 12th Street run to our combined sewer on Andrew Avenue, which has capacity. Also looking at maybe doing, after you separate sewers to the south, it may be that we can improve the storm drains on 12th Street, because now we have capacity on 12th Street. That'll take some modeling to know where we're there.
Do you need to add that to this, or it's still, I don't want people to think we're not working on 12th Street. Is that in addition to this, or do we handle that separately?
It'll be part of it. In the quote request, I'll list items. This is what we expect out of your proposal, and that'll be included.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Jerry, for all that work.
Thank you.
Paul Breton, Chief of Police, accept letter of retirement and permission to replace.
Before you see Corporal Jackson has indicated that he's going to retire March 9th of 2021. Just wanted to get the wheels rolling, since this is such a lengthy process to get somebody hired. I don't believe we do the hiring until after the first of the year. I think that's the thinking is just get this moving.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Thank you to Carl Jackson. How many years of service?
He'll have 30 in March. And he wanted to hit his 30 years.
And right now, how many officers do we either have being trained or in the field?
We just had 3 graduate the academy. They should be on their own by the first of the year once they get back. And then we have 5 scheduled for the academy, and we have 1 that has academy that will enter into FTO here once we get the numbers back from the state of Indiana.
So that'll give us a total of how many officers?
We'll be at our 44.
And when's the last time you've been at 44?
I can't remember that. So it's been a while.
Great. Any other discussion?
Just that it's kind of incredible. It seems to me like in the span of 11 months to have such a tremendous turnaround, including, I can't remember how many retirements, but several certainly.
Right, it's historically been like that. We knew this was gonna hit us. Carl's talked about it for quite a while. He saves all his vacation for the end of the year usually, and he was off for 3 weeks. And he called me one Thursday afternoon and said, I want to talk. And he said, I like this. I like being off. So, but he says, I want to hit my 30 years. So, I commend him for giving us the heads up.
And Chief has turned around the culture, the mentality, and we're no longer losing officers to other communities as well. So I think that's a great move, and congratulations to your leadership team. So with that, any further discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Quotes for 10 new radar units.
I guess on that, it's everything we have is the traffic problem is out of control in town, as you know. I mean, anybody drives around, we got so many cars that have outdated radar in them. They're running a deal. If I buy 10 of them, I get three of them for free. So it's getting 13 for the price of 10. That was something I talked to Courtney about, and I thought this was too good a deal to look the other way on. We'll be able to replace a lot of the old ones, maybe get some of them in and get them fixed. We got radar antennas that don't work. We got some things that'll pick up trees. I mean, they're getting wore out. We're already using them. We're ripping them out of cars because we've had so many problems. We probably have half our cars probably have the good radars in them yet.
Clerk Treasurer Parthun, do you approve?
Yeah, it'll come out of the 2020 police budget, so he's good there.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
So these are all going to be the speed radar to mount in the vehicles, or these?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We've removed so many, that weren't working right. We just take them out of service, and this is going to replace that and give these officers new tools to work this traffic.
Okay. So, Chief, do you think so this obviously will bring in 13 new units. Do you feel like there are more that are required to be replaced at this point in time, or the ones that will be remaining are still good, serviceable units?
They are for now. When we get new cars, I'll be asking for more. I mean, that's also going to be with that. We'd like to outfit all 10 new cars if we have the 10 number with new radar as well. And that'll put us in real good shape.
And with those new cars, should we look now, not necessarily, is there a way to hold them with this deal to get some free, like you're getting now, 3 free, maybe to put in some type of order to hold that if they'll give us free, if we buy all of this at once?
The deal's good till the end of the year, and that would be up to Courtney. I mean, that's beyond me, because that would have to come out of the new car budget.
Well, maybe we push it on the vendor to say, hey, we'll commit to this now, but we're not going to pay.
Right. Oh, I'll make the phone call. I'll have no problem making that phone call.
Mr. Kosher, I assume that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, just thinking of like how many more units might need to be replaced in the near term. And so if that's something that, I don't know, I guess I'm not sure how many total we might have, but if the money is there in the budget and this is something that would need to be done, early next year maybe, or what? I guess when will the new units? When will they be delivered? I can't remember from that. Well, I think it was last meeting, right?
It'd be January.
The new
possibly
vehicles.
first week of February.
Okay.
February, probably first week of February.
So I'd certainly like to put a little pressure on the vendor to say, hey, if we're going to order these in January, we want the same deal. The free unit.
Yeah, right.
Well, Courtney, where are we at within the budget for 2020 versus 2021?
I can tell you Paul's got a good amount of money left for 2020. I don't have the exact numbers. I'm sorry, I'm at my house, not at the office, but I can certainly get you that information so you can make a better decision.
So
2021's budget is tight. I can tell you that. We were going to use CARES Act dollars for part of the police equipment for the new cars. So we'll just have to look at the numbers.
But so total, you could use how many now, or would you be receiving 10 and 3 are for free, or 10
Right,
and
and
a total of 13?
3 is the maximum number, but if I made 2 separate orders, I mean, that's something we can bring before the end of the year with a separate order.
And then pay for it in one.
Right.
Okay.
I'll talk to them. I'll reach out to them. They're right here. They're in southern Indiana, so
Or Paul, if you've got additional money in your budget for 2020, we can encumber. So that's an option too. It's just
right. Right. I'll look at it. I'll talk to them, and I think with the additional, I would bring that before you anyway. But I gotta talk with them.
Tell him we'd hate to cancel the order of radars that were today if he doesn't do the deal then. So do I have a motion?
I think you already have a motion.
Yeah, I think so.
Second, any further discussion? And again, Paul, this is for 10, receiving 3 for free, so 13, or is it paying for 7 and receiving 3 for a total of 10?
Oh, it's purchasing 10 and getting a total of 13.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And just as a reminder, with the radar, out of control, speeding, Pine Lake Avenue, Ohio Street, I know are 2 of the hot spots. Anywhere else that people need to slow down?
Indiana's bad. They've been working at. Lincoln Way is bad at certain times of day. Our midnight shift's been working Pine Lake Avenue and Lincoln Way in early morning hours. And they've been stopping quite a few.
Right. Quote to purchase two new vehicles or 2 vehicles.
Those quotes are on cars that we've been leasing for the last 2 years. Out of necessity, I activated that into everyday patrol cars. They were admin type vehicles. Trying to keep the repairs costs down on the cars that we got rid of here recently. That's kept my repair bills pretty decent this year. It's not repairing those. So I put 2 active officers in those cars, looking just to buy them because they're in such good shape. Of all of them that we leased, those 2 were the best. And the one we're actually using as a traffic drug enforcement car. And the other one is on a shift captain drive, so it's unmarked as well. Just looking outside the box to buy those because of their condition. And I think it's a pretty good deal. We knocked quite a bit off the price of them.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I wondered why those quotes were so low. I didn't quite pick up the year on those, so.
They're both well under 20,000 miles on those cars, and we've had them 2.5 years. That's why I wanted to keep those. They were the best of the best there. The others, we were on a cycle to replace them every 2 years with our lease program. These, because Chrysler shut down the Dodge Chargers, we haven't replaced cars. So those are being drug out a little bit, but new ones are coming on that lease after the first of the year.
Great.
Yeah.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Grant agreement.
Good morning. So every year there's a grant application process that opens up for IPEP, which is Indiana Public Employers Plan. That's our workers' compensation insurance. A few of our departments applied this year, and one department was granted the grant, and that was the wastewater department. they applied for 2 gas detectors, and all of these grant funds are to be used for improving our safety at whichever department is applying. So this is for 2 gas detectors in the amount of $2,000, $646.38. That's 80% of what the total cost is. So just asking for your approval to move forward with that grant agreement, and the funds will be dispersed in early 2021.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
So what's the, obviously it's great to get a grant for this. You said it covers 80%. So what's the remaining, what was the remaining amount then?
I'd have to do the math on that.
I was looking for it.
It's not on the actual grant agreement, but it's covered by wastewater.
Okay.
These are personal monitors that you clip on your vest when you're going into a confined space, and measures oxygen, combustibles, hydrogen sulfide to make sure the atmosphere is safe when you go into a manhole or digesters. Kind of part of the routine equipment you have to carry when you're doing that sort of work to keep you safe.
But isn't the total probably $550 on our part, or is my math off?
You're probably correct.
Where's Jess Romine when you need her?
Well, I don't have my 10-key in front of me. I don't think it's very much. I guess it's more around $400, Mayor, but it could be a little higher.
You got it. All right, so do I have a motion?
You are ready.
Yes.
Yes, and a second. So any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 0. Fiber project funding.
Okay, so this one is to get our fiber network kind of started. The fiber lines have already been laid by Surf Broadband. This project would essentially have Think Tank doing the networking here at City Hall as kind of the hub of the fiber network for all departments. We do have Brad Cook and Randy from Think Tank on the call today should you have specific questions. They are the IT experts. So Brad and Randy, is there anything further you would like to explain regarding the project?
Just overall, I know, this has been like a elongated project with, sort of broadband and getting everyone hooked up. This is going to get streets, transportation, the water power, police department, fire station locations. This is going to get them kind of all hooked up with the fiber network. So we're going to actually eliminate the need for VPNs that are from the separate cities now and kind of secure things down a little bit better overall for the network. This is going to be able to, specifically with transportation on the water tower networks, just to make sure that, there's some other plans in the future for the fiber itself. This is going to be able to really configure the city's network to make sure that it's not only secure, but we're going to be able to send information a little bit easier, lock down things a lot better, overall security with the city. It'll make things a little bit quicker, and then it opens up a lot of doors in the future. If we want to start, having City Hall be in the hub, we have some decisions to make with that too, as far as offering internet for the entire city, so we might be able to save some money down the road for that. With this is like the first stage of it. This is really going to get the whole city connected. And with this particular proposal, with the departments that I did state, the equipment that we would be installing would open the door again for future, for growth. So we wouldn't have to come back to this every time we add a department. We'd have to buy more and more and more equipment. So overall, this is like finally the hookup that you guys are looking for, getting all the equipment in there to make the fiber network work is really what the overall look is.
So is this something, I don't know, for Brad or Jen, that who is Surf Air now? I forget their name.
Surf Broadband.
Surf Broadband.
Surf Broadband.
I believe CBS too is part of that whole organization.
Did we not want to continue with Surf Broadband, or is that not work that they do?
This is kind of work internal, our own IT stuff. they're doing the external running the lines.
So there are two separate entities, or what needs to be done?
We're providing the networking portion of it on the city side, if that makes more sense, Mayor. So anything internally as far as, with the plans, and we talked with Jerry a little bit too, making sure that when the fiber connections are set up, making sure that the networks are separated, so you don't have like the police department talking to City Hall, and people from streets being able to access the water, the water department's information, and making sure it's all secure in that route. That's kind of what this proposal is included with as well, on top of putting the equipment in to get the fiber hooked up.
And Think Tank has worked directly with Surf Broadband, the entity that laid the fiber lines.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the information from them directly to make sure that the handoff from Surf Air to the city itself is correct with the equipment that we're providing.
And the Newport Landing lift station, future lift station serving Newport Landing, I'm going to get it to be the first thing on the network. We'll see.
So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
So basically, what we're looking at here is improved capacity, currently and for the future. Speed sounds like also, and then the security piece. So no VPN. So will this be? Is there a way to? Do you look at this as like creating a closed network?
Correct. That's actually the best way to put it. So think about it this way: is that the city itself will have its own internal network. It won't be internet facing anymore, so that'll make it a lot more secure than it is now. Using the access of the VPNs, and that's obviously kind of an adherence where now you'll be able to open up a share or connect to the city hall, and we'll be working with each individual departments to make sure that people that need access to those certain areas on the servers that they're all taken care of. That's in this proposal as well. So you'll have your own internal network as far as the city goes.
Okay.
Yeah, connected, all connected. And we'll be able to add in more of the departments that weren't listed as the fire. I know that's kind of that's kind of coming up and coming. So
It's a good step toward making our utilities, water and sewer, more reliable, because we've got it'll give us more secure monitoring and control of remote facilities.
I assume we'll talk offline with Courtney and Jen and all the volume that we're doing. I assume we're doing it. So Brad, I'm sure you're excited about that, and you look forward to it. Somebody's phone or echoing. There we go. But I'm sure we'll look forward to a stronger financial partnership here for 2021 as the more work that we do. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. A motion and a second. All those in favor, say
aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 3-0. Update on policy. Jen.
Lastly, we have a small update to the communicable disease policy, given the, the influx in COVID situations happening here in the county. We discussed internally about having employees quarantine or test when they travel out of state for over 24 hours. And that's just something easy that we can kind of apply. With the mandates that were given the community wide, we felt that it was something that we need to do internally as well. So I highlighted the portions that would be changed, and it's really in terms of, it's focusing on attachment B, the travel and contact history. So the city would now require a negative test result or a 14-day quarantine if you have traveled out of state for over 24 hours before allowing you to return to work. So just asking for your approval to move forward with that change.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. And again, I appreciate Jen doing this with the holidays coming, with the increase in COVID. We just have to get control on it and flatten the curve. And people looking to travel, I'm sorry to say, you're going to come back, get a test or quarantine. But we do our part.
Yeah, I really like the idea. Is there just the only thing I was thinking was if someone travels, comes back then they have to have a negative test. How fast are we able to get those results back on those tests?
It just depends on the testing facility. So I mean, right now it's running 3 to 5 days.
Any other discussion?
But Jen, those people, if they are getting tested or quarantined, they're still able to work from home.
If they're, yeah, it depends on what position they have within the city, but a lot of folks are able to work remotely, yes.
Okay, great.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Jen. Beth West.
You should have all received copies of the safety plan. This was something that was devised by the FTA prior to me starting. It was actually due in July, but they pushed it out because of COVID, so it's now due. I actually have to have it to NERC by the end of this week, actually, because then they are going to be the ones that are going to submit it to the FTA. We have to have board approval on it. So the second page of the document has a place for all of your signatures. And I need to have signatures by the end of the week.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor or opposed? Sorry, I got lost. Trying to do a thing ahead of that. So we do have a motion and a second, and I think you all said, did you all approve? I'm going to say it one more time. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
We're going to add Nick Minnick. Nick, this is an important project.
Yes, so we've been working very closely with the developer of the parcel at the corner of Truesdale and Pine Lake Ave, Kensington Development. Some items that we're working with them on require some additional environmental kind of monitoring and some environmental management work. We've already done some of this work, and this is with the contract through the Redevelopment Commission. We would like to get the property closed and move on and see some development there. In order to do that, we do have just this little bit of extra work. I received a change order to our existing contract with Jacob and Hefner for work that's being done on that corner. Again, most of this has gone through the Redevelopment Commission in the past, but with the funds kind of shifting, the work we're doing, Newport Landing moving forward, most of what we're going to be doing is monitoring, and the adjacent property, the landfill site, they both require monitoring, and some of those are actually common points. So starting next year, we're going to start really merging those two for kind of the long-term maintenance of keeping, groundwater monitoring and that sort of thing. So it seemed like a good opportunity to start that now and use this work as kind of that point. So the contract again is for some additional environmental management, which involves some sampling and some soil removals in some key locations. The total cost of this item is $24,900. So the contractor indicated that they can get started on Monday, which is great, and then that would put us at having this all wrapped up before Thanksgiving and hopefully being able to keep our purchaser and developer happy.
And what is the total amount again?
$24,900.
Now that is much less than what we thought, correct?
We had estimated that the cost would be almost double that, but I think we're looking at doing some other cost saving items, like in the past, IDEM has kind of seen the entire Newport Landing as one site, and in doing such, we can utilize the area that we're still yet to clean up. We have some transportation and disposal of non-hazardous contaminated material that we'll be doing hopefully over the winter. So this material doesn't have to be disposed of, anything excavated. So that's going to save us a little bit. And again, we're working with both a contractor who's previously been on this site and a consultant that is very, very familiar with everything and able to have a few efficiencies that way.
And this will complete the Kensington agreement?
Correct.
And who is the engineer and the firm doing the work?
Jacob and Hefner.
They're doing all of it?
They'll manage the whole thing. It's turnkey project for us. It's really like an environmental management type project. So the bulk of the effort is making sure it's done per all of IDEM standards and kind of reporting and sampling and that sort of thing.
So Nick, they're just doing the soil samples, or they would be also doing any cleanup that would be involved?
I think we might have lost him.
Nick, thank you. Bert Cook, while Nick's coming back, would you like to add anything to this project?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just for the board, just to kind of give a little frame of reference. So we've been working on this particular project for almost 2 years now at this point.
So they have identified 2 areas.
Nick, can you hear me? Nick?
I can, yes.
If you don't mind, start over. Jess Romine had a question.
Yes, sorry.
Were you able to hear my question, Nick?
Yes, so we are doing some removals as part of this. There's some areas that we know it's about a 10 by 10 area in 2 places, and we have an approximate depth, and we want to essentially get underneath that. So we'll remove that material. We'll do confirmation sampling, and that should be sufficient to make sure that we're delivering a site in very good condition.
Jess, are you comfortable with that answer?
Yeah, he answered my question. Thank you.
So just in terms of like that piece of it where you talk about like the removal, I assume kind of that you kind of broke up there a little bit, but you sort of end up with going into dermatology terms, but a clean margin around the area that's removed to know that there's no additional issues.
Correct. So this site has been sampled by the city. It's been sampled by multiple developers. There are a lot of data points. So there's a very good understanding of where areas are delineated. We also included in here, so this is a not to exceed contract, and I did have them include just kind of an additional 30% overage in case we needed to go just slightly further. But we should be covered with this contract. The 10 by 10 areas should be sufficient. But again, we do have that little bit of extra in case we encounter something different. It's fairly easy to know how much more we need to take out because in most cases there's either some type of odor or there's some type of discoloration of the soil, and you can kind of get out of that and be comfortable with where you're at. Again, most of this site is what we call historic urban fill. So there are pockets of material that were used for fill that have had buildings on it for centuries, a century almost in most cases. So this is all just older material that at the time was appropriate, and now we want to make sure that we're taking out the highest concentrations of contaminants. So.
And this just, I think I get this part of it, but this is not the Banks area. This is the corner. So this is the newly developed. Okay.
Correct. This is Kensington. This is the area we would have called Pine Lake Ave parcels. It's the last remaining parcel in that portion of the project. So it's exciting to get to this point and be able to keep turning over property.
Little Tavern in the fire department, right?
Correct. Yep.
Would we be doing this regardless of whether it was the Kensington project or any other project?
Yeah, likely we would have to do this. So there's 2 exceedances of commercial industrial direct contact per item standards. So the likelihood of somebody actually coming in direct contact is extremely low. But as an extra precaution, most companies are going to want that removed also. So that's where we're at. Everything else is within those levels, so would be in condition to start building.
Bert Cook, could you add to this from a LEAP perspective?
Yeah, just briefly, Mayor, because Nick's done a great job of kind of summarizing that. Just remind the board, we've been working on this project for about 2 years. This developer's been involved for the majority of that time, so you have a long-term partner on this project with us. It's been a long road here to get to the finish line, but we are at those last couple steps here, and getting this work done in a timely manner is kind of that next major hurdle to get to the closing and ultimately what we all want to see, which is construction in the spring. Thank you.
So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And I think we overall, department heads have done a great job at not adding things till the last minute. Sometimes things pop up like this. We also have one that literally just popped up at 9:14 this morning, and due to weather, I'm going to ask for your review if you will consider this. Marianne Richards is on with us now, and Marianne, would you like to bring 603 Tipton before us, the demolition process and asbestos?
Thank you very much. I just got this morning, and by addressing this today at today's meeting and not delaying it for the next Board of Works meeting, it will hopefully eliminate a 2 to 3 week delay in demolition of this building. I've got a quote here from Clean Air Environmental Services to remove asbestos pipe insulation, insulation fittings, and duct wrap in the amount of $5,968. This would bring everything in compliance with IDEM and OSHA regulations, G program, and the demolition funding. So I'm asking for to accept the quote or the estimate so that we can proceed with the demolition process. I can't solicit quotes for demolition until the asbestos is removed.
So before we consider a motion, should we receive 3 quotes, or are you okay to just move forward with Clean Air legally?
That's just for the asbestos, Mayor.
We've been using Clean Air.
Marianne? Well, Jess, Mark, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so this is a quote for Clean Air. I just wanted to make sure we followed any type of bids, and it looks like we have. So I didn't hear part of Marianne's, but this would be for 603 Tipton. Would you feel comfortable making a motion to approve the asbestos cleanup?
Well, how about, so a motion as you stated, but just pending, I guess pending sort of, well, I guess legal review.
Legal review.
That we're okay with moving
right.
forward.
Are you comfortable with that?
I am. You can move forward with this due to the amount, Mayor. You're not required. This is not bidding. It's quoting at best, but because of the amount, you don't even have to obtain 3 quotes.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Is this money coming from CDBG?
Yes.
I thought that's what I heard. Yeah, okay.
This activity will be paid for from CDBG funds, according to Marianne.
Okay.
So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those, or further discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you all. Unfinished business? I don't believe there is any. Other business, I would just like to say, we'll be having an AMA Ask Me Anything at 1:30 today with Dr. James Leonard from LaPorte Hospital. Obviously, with COVID increasing and the curve increasing, we want to make sure the residents of this community have their questions answered and receive an update from a health perspective from Dr. Leonard. And so that will be at 1:30 today. You know, the restrictions are in place here until further notice with the city of Michigan City and LaPorte County. Anything from the members?
Mayor, there was one question that looked like on Facebook. Carly Dunn asked, are the CARES Act funds a grant for COVID? And she probably raised this in relation to one of the topics, and I'm not sure which one, but either if Mayor Courtney wants to answer that one.
Yeah, the CARES Act funding is just reimbursable dollars that the state of Indiana allocated to us. So at last night's council meeting, the council approved a resolution to capture the rest of the amount that was allocated to the city of LaPorte, which is around $673,000. And we are able to use those funds for COVID-related projects. We were able to capture the rest of that $673,000 in reimbursable dollars by submitting public health and safety payroll for that dollar amount. So I hope that answers the question sufficiently. And if it doesn't, you can certainly email me or call me. I'll be happy to help.
And what's your contact information for anybody that'd like to?
Sure. C. Parthune at cityoflaportein.gov. My office line is 219-362-9512.
Any other questions, Mr. Otis?
None that I saw, no.
Chief Breton, just to update the membership here of the Board of Works, our second officer tested positive. That's been down at Academy testing. Is that correct, Chief?
That's correct. They had a outbreak at Nylea, Northwest Academy the last week. They decided to push the officers through. Now 2 of the 3 have tested positive. Aaron Stewart and then Jose Gonzalez. They're both quarantined now, and it's unfortunate this happened. No fault of their own.
And the third officer is being tested?
That's correct. We're waiting results. He tested yesterday.
Questions from the membership? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, since this will be the last time we meet before then. And have a great holiday. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.